Hi everyone, welcome back to another styling video. I'm really excited for today's video because I want to share with you my 3-point styling rule, and I think it's going to be a game changer if you struggle to put together outfits, especially if you want your outfits to look really interesting and elevated. And I've analyzed quite a few of my previous outfits and I came to the conclusion that the ones that I loved the most had 3 points of interest to them. And this rule is just really easy to apply. You can use pieces you already own. You don't have to go out and buy anything new, and there are so many different ways that you can add interest to an outfit, through color, through shape, through print and pattern, through different textures, of course with jewelry as well. So I'm going to show you a few examples and I hope this is helpful. I think you are going to love it. Okay, so for the first outfit, I didn't rely on jewelry to add interest. Most of the time I do, but in case you don't love chunky or bold jewelry, I wanted to keep the jewelry really minimal. So actually only I'm wearing some rings and very small earrings. So I'm going to add interest to the outfit in 3 other ways. So the first being black accessories. They really provide such a nice contrast, especially if you're wearing white or ivory or lighter colors, and they add a bit of edge, but they immediately catch the eye, and that is the key when it comes to these points of interest, the 3-point styling rule. You want 3 points in your outfit that can catch the eye, that stand out against the outfit, and that are interesting. So firstly, the black accessories. Then of course we have that pop of color, especially a bright color, which you instantly see, especially styled with lighter colors. So if you love color and you wear color a ton, then this is a really easy way to add interest to an outfit. And then the third point of interest is a layer. So this can actually be a jacket or a cardigan that you're wearing. For this one, I just added a sweater draped over the shoulders, and immediately that third layer adds a lot more interest and also provides a bit of contrast with the colored t-shirt, and it creates a bit of a sandwich with the ivory on top as well as on the bottom with the jeans. And there you have your 3 points of interest and the 3-point styling rule for a very interesting outfit. Now, I wanted to remove the sweater draped over the shoulders in case it's really warm where you live, or you just don't love wearing a sweater like that. So instead of the sweater, I went for really bold jewelry. So I added a cuff, I added a big earring, and these kind of replace the interest that the sweater had over the shoulders. They really stand out and they catch the eye, and I think it's just a really easy way that you can elevate your outfits. So that is kind of how I wanted to show you how you can chop and change the pieces to add different types of interest to an outfit. So for the next look, I kept the bold statement jewelry, and for most of the outfits, I am going to be wearing some chunky jewelry. So that will always be one of the items or pieces that I use to elevate my outfits. And then for this outfit, I wanted to add interest through shape. So instead of going for a basic white t-shirt, I went for this t-shirt that has such an interesting shape. It cinches in at the waist, and then it has these big batwing sleeves, and that shape immediately catches the eye. It's unique, it's interesting, and that really helps to elevate the outfit. And then the third point of interest is in the shoes, and I think there are 2 things about the shoes that really add interest to the outfit. Number 1 is definitely the shape with that sharp point, and number 2, it being a white shoe. I've said it before, white shoes are my absolute favorite at the moment to really add a pop to any outfit. It immediately catches the eye to create some interest, and I think it just really makes for a very interesting and elevated outfit. I do realize that I am using the word interesting quite a bit, but I'll try and come up with a few alternatives. For the next look, I wanted to go for a dress. But before I go on with this look, I actually just want to mention, you'll see that in none of the outfits I'm wearing a bag or sunglasses. And that is because a lot of the time we aren't wearing a bag or sunglasses. I love bags and sunglasses to elevate my outfits, but if you're indoors, then you don't have them on you. There's no need for them. So I wanted to create some interest and some uniqueness to the outfits without those accessories. And I think one of the things that we tend to think when it comes to summer dresses is it's one piece and it can be really boring. And that is where this 3-point styling rule really comes into play. So first being the actual dress itself. So when I look for summer dresses, I tend to go for shapes that are a bit more interesting, like a dropped waist, or even the shape of this bodice, the way it's cut over the shoulders and the V. It's also maxi length, meaning that it does add some drama. And in this case, it also is a beautiful burgundy color. So I feel like that ties in with the uniqueness of the dress. And then the second point of interest is the white shoes. And I especially love styling my white shoes at the moment with something that is a bit darker. So it really provides that contrast and really pops against the rest of the outfit. And then the third point of interest, of course, is the jewelry. Again, that silver really pops and sparkles against the burgundy to create a really elevated look. The next outfit is kind of a basic outfit, and I wanted to show you that you can use these basic pieces and also create a really interesting outfit. So I'm wearing jeans and a white button-up shirt, and the first point of interest is going to be the jewelry. I added some chunky gold jewelry to really add some interest to the outfit. Then I brought in a bit of color with the burgundy shoes and the belt, and colored accessories are also a really easy way that you can add interest to an outfit. It doesn't have to be crazy bright colors, they can be muted as well, but just something other than a neutral, I want to say, to just create that bit of interest to the look. And then the third point of interest in this outfit isn't actually a physical piece, but it's actually how I style the shirt. So initially I had the shirt tucked in, but the sleeves were rolled down, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I do think there are more interesting ways that you can style a shirt for it to just look a bit more elevated. So one of my favorite ways is either pushing up the sleeves or rolling up the sleeves. And I think that adds so much interest because it just gives a beautiful shape to the sleeve. And also cotton shirts tend to have some great structure to them. So it just really creates a beautiful shape. And that's one of my favorite ways to wear a shirt. And I think in this case, just rolling up the sleeves, it just makes a world of a difference to the overall look of the outfit and really elevates it. The last outfit is definitely a favorite because I've been wearing a variation of this a couple of times a week at least for the last few weeks. It's just so easy to put together, but it always just works. So I'm wearing some ankle length jeans and a t-shirt. The first point of interest is the animal print flats. I've been loving animal print shoes recently. I think it's a really easy and effective way to add a unique touch to an outfit. And most animal prints, obviously you get colored animal print, but if you go for just the normal, natural, neutral animal prints, they're really easy to style. Then my second point of interest again is the jewelry, some bold statement jewelry that really stands out against the outfit. And I also added that with the hardware in the belt that is a bit more chunky. And then the third point of interest is the jacket. So you can go for any type of jacket that you want, a blazer with some big shoulders or a cropped trench coat that has more of an oversized fit. In this case, I went for this olive green bomber jacket, which I know a lot of you have bought. It's been one of my favorite jackets to wear for spring. And I think the interest in this outfit, or the jacket at least, definitely comes in with the color. I love this olive green color. Again, it's a color, but it's really easy to style. And then the shape of the jacket. I think this is such a beautiful shape. It is more oversized. I love the big collar. Also love the slight balloon shape in the back. And of course, I love pushing up my sleeves. And I think that just adds to the entire shape of the jacket. So there you have those 3 points of interest. And I think, again, the outfit would be fine without one of those, but I think the three together just create a complete package. And those were the examples that I wanted to show you for my 3-point styling rule. I hope you enjoyed it. I think this will be really useful in helping you put together outfits, kind of showing you what to focus on when you want to elevate an outfit. So let me know if you loved this video, and if you haven't yet, please like and subscribe. It would mean the world to me. And also don't forget to go and give me a follow over on Instagram and then on LTK, which I link all of the pieces that I show. And I hope you have a lovely rest of your week. I will chat to you again in the next video. Bye everyone. Wow.